Hi, I'm Church. This is After Dark with Church, and I'm going to talk about one of the strangest stories that's ever happened to me. Like, this one actually shook me. It made me scared of mirrors for the longest time. So, my uncle and aunt were living in Conroe, Texas, and I went to stay the summer with them. Like, I don't think it was the whole summer, I think it was just like a couple weeks, maybe a month. And well, it was all fun and games. I mean, I was having a good time. Well, I'm sitting in their living room one day with them, and the living room door just slams. There was no gust of wind because there was no other doors open in the house. It was just the door from the living room to the hallway. It was actually okay. The way this house was set up is you walk into the living room. To the right of you was the kitchen area. Straight ahead was another door, and you're like I said, you're in the living room. Straight ahead was another door, and on the other side of that door, to the right, was it was an open floor plan, so there was no hallways. There was just the door to the master bedroom. But as you walk into that door, you're in a bedroom, and then you walk through another doorway. But there was no doors hung on those doors. It was just archways. You walk through an archway into another bedroom, and then an archway into the final bedroom. And in that bedroom, that first bedroom, to the right in that room was a bathroom. It was the only bathroom in the house. So, let's get started. The door slams. The door that goes to all the bedrooms, it slams. And I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck was that? And my Uncle Mike just busts out laughing. My Aunt Cherie goes, that's Doug. Who is Doug? Apparently that's what the name of the ghost was. Well, there was a ghost there. But apparently my Aunt Cherie told me this whole thing about how there was several ghosts. And I'm like, oh, bullshit. Like, because, I don't know, like, when someone tells me a supernatural story, I usually keep a skepticism in mind because I've always tried to remain skeptical because a lot of people say, oh, ghost this, ghost that, and they're full of shit. I mean, so many people are full of shit whenever it comes to this particular topic. Well, I less and less thought my aunt was full of shit because she sat and told me all these weird things that had happened to her in the house and started telling me, like what ghost was responsible for what. And I'm like, there's no way you can know that. Come on. Well, anyway, as time goes on, I would, since I got along with all of my cousins, they're all fun. So I would bounce from room to room, sleeping in one of their floors a night, like it was just the way it was. And, whoever I was bullshitting with that night, I'd pass out in their room. And there was a couple times I passed out in the living room. Well, after what I'm about to tell you, I stayed my ass in the living room. And if I had to piss, I went outside. And here's why. So, I just happened to pass out in the farthest bedroom with my cousin Jackie. We were sitting there bullshitting and it just nodded off. So they let me sleep there and I slept. Well, I woke up about 2:30, 3 o'clock that night, as men do, and I'm like, oh, I gotta piss. Well, as boys do, because I was a kid, but still, I woke up and I was like, oh, I gotta piss, so I'm stumbling my half dead ass and, into the bathroom. I do my business and I'm washing my hands, and then as I look up, the reflection in the mirror was my own, but it was different. Like pale skin instead of blue eyes, I had green eyes, which that can be explained because my eyes do go from green to blue, like depending on the light and my mood and shit like that. My eyes do fluctuate between those two colors, but it doesn't make up for the pale skin and the fact that my hair was dark instead of blonde. I mean, so I'm sitting there like looking at myself freaked out because the reflection looking back at me is my own but different. And it's following me as I'm doing this number here, like, trying to fucking, like make it mess up, I guess. which I don't know if that would have terrified me more or less. And then I found out that it terrified me more because I hear a giggle behind me. And I kind of do like this, and I'm like, don't look, don't look. And I go to look back at the mirror. Well, then the reflection in the mirror just kind of goes, and then reaches. And as it reaches, I'm telling you, it reached out at me. Like it was not in a mirror, it was really there, and it reached out. And as it went to grab me, I jump back, but when I do, I fucking lose my footing and stumble and fall back into the bedroom. And I look up, and the figure is gone. Like there's no reflection in the mirror of me or anything. And I hear the giggle again, and without thinking, I look back, and there is this little girl dressed in a Victorian era dress, just giggling. And she's sitting at the foot of my cousin Lisa's bed. I immediately lost my shit. And when I ran outside. And I didn't know what to do because my other family members that live there, I'm not exactly close with. I wound up not going back inside at all that night. I hung out on the porch until I heard my uncle that lived a house over moving around. I went and saw what he was doing. Wound up in a field at 5 o'clock that morning with my uncle, who I'm not sure what he was doing, but I think he was mushroom hunting, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I refused to go home until the sun came up, and I talked to my aunt and my uncle about it, and they knew I wasn't full of shit. Let's just say that. My aunt started laughing, and I'm like, this shit is not a laughing matter. Well, she thought so. And I had a hard time going back into the rest of the house after dark. Because that was the most insane shit. I mean, think about it. You're sitting there running cold water on your face, trying to, and wash your hands, and you look up, and there is a being that is you, but not. I don't know how to. I don't know how to embrace that. Like I don't know what to think about that. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it was all the little girl playing a trick on me, or if it was like a triple threat and there really is just a whole shitload of ghosts in that house, and that was how they chose to torment me. Like I don't even know. I don't know. Like it was, but I know that little girl was really there, like really there, but she had no. That's the funny, well, not funny. That's the kicker. Was the reason she freaked me out so much wasn't just because she was a girl in a Victorian dress that wasn't really there. She had no fucking feet. Like where the dress ended was where she ended. But the rest of her was there, like from the dress up. Yeah, that didn't do good for my mentality. And it really, every time something like this happens, it makes me drop my skeptical ends for a long time. Like, it'll be like a month or two before I start saying bullshit. You know, but I always make sure to find it, because you have to keep skepticism in this case. Because if you're not a skeptic, then you often forget to look for what could be a logical explanation. But with this one, nope. Because that little girl was there, the other me was there, there really is something that would slam the door randomly, like, and it wasn't us. There was one after I thought I was gonna be good sleeping in the living room, but I would randomly hear the cabinets open and close, knowing my aunt was in bed, like it was looking for something. There was actually one time I walked in the kitchen, and it was like one of the utensils fell and hit the cabinet, like somebody had it in their hand, and then I walked in and they dropped it. You know what I'm saying? And that house, I don't know what could have caused all of those hauntings in one place. Like I like, even if you're looking at this as a true blue believer and you're like, it was a poltergeist, what would have caused so many entities to be in one house? That bewilders me. Like, because you could tell by how it felt that they were different. Like, whatever that little girl was different than whatever it was that shut the door. Especially because there was one time. Okay, so we know about the little girl. But one of the times right before I left, I was sleeping on the couch, and I swear to God, I thought my Uncle Mike, because the TV was still on, I fell asleep watching the TV, and I heard somebody sit down in the chair at my head, you know, like up here, you know, because there was a recliner, and then there was the couch, and I felt someone sitting in the recliner, like I heard them sit down, and I was just like, you dude, you can change it and watch whatever you want, just don't bother me, you know, I'm trying to, you know. Well, I got no answer. And whenever I turned around and looked, you could see the outline of someone sitting in the recliner, like they had weight. But there was no one there. Oh, God, this house. Whoo! This house. Like, and I'm thinking that was Doug. Because, like I said, it was a full grown, whatever it was, because I want to say recliner, but it wasn't really a recliner. It was a chair with an ottoman, and you could see where they were pushed back in the chair all the way to where the ottoman was, and it was a full-grown person. It wasn't a little girl, like the little girl in the dress. And not to mention, Doug, or what we call Doug, felt a lot less malevolent, a lot less trickstery. But whatever that little girl was, it sounded and felt creepy and half-ass evil. Like, I didn't like being around it. I didn't like the fact that it was there with me. I wasn't cool with it. Like, it freaked me out. So, I wound up leaving shortly after that incident where I was sleeping on the couch and the Doug was there. But there was strange things that would happen in the kitchen. It happened all around the house. And if I was sleeping in Jackie's room, which was the furthest room, I could hear somebody running down the hallway on occasion. And I'm like, what the fuck was that? And there would be no one there. Like, this house was just weird. Like, it was just all out weird. I don't know why or what caused so many infestations of ghosts or what have you. But staying there for that summer freaked me out to the point to where I wouldn't look at a mirror for the longest time. I didn't like anything that casted a reflection because I was scared I was going to see that twisted version of me. And finally I got over it. I'm like, look, whatever that was, it never hurt me. I never saw it again. I mean, it just let it go. So I did. It took a while. It took a long while. But I honestly think that it might have traumatized me a little bit. But like I said, I got over it. I worked my way through it. It is what it is. So, hope you enjoyed the story. This was another episode of After Dark with Church. All right. Y'all have a nice day. Stay safe and be good to each other. If you like what you just saw and you like the content that I'm providing, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a comment. It really helps the algorithm and it helps me get seen by more people. And that's what I'm going for. So, later.